All right, let's get this underway. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Proven Winners webinar here today, where we're going to talk about our Heart-to-Heart Caladium program. My name is Dave Kinsera. I'm the Vice President of Sales for Proven Winners. We partnered with Classic Caladiums about 3 or 4 years ago now to really help reinvent the Caladium category, very similar to what we've done in all the other plant categories that we're in: annuals, perennials, and shrubs. And we're very excited about this partnership because the team down at Classic Caladiums have been working really, really hard on new breeding initiatives and taking a sort of what we felt was an underutilized and an underserved class and really updating it with cutting edge breeding techniques to really maximize the performance of these Caladiums. So I think you guys will be as excited as we were when we first started learning about these Caladiums, and this is going to be a fantastic webinar. If you guys could click the slide forward for me. A little bit of housekeeping here. All you attendees are going to be in listen-only mode today. Please utilize the chat function at the bottom of the screen. I'm sure you're all used to that by now. And we'll also save some time at the end for Q&A if you want to type in any questions that you have. We will be recording this, and once we get it all edited and cleaned up, we'll post this up to the Proven Winners website with some links on how to view this if you want to review it or send it out to anybody else within your organization to learn more about it. Next slide, please. So today, who's the two amazing gentlemen that are going to be talking about the Heart-to-Heart Caladium line: Clay Wallace and Chad Harrison from Classic Caladiums. Clay is the head grower down there, and a lot of the focus on this webinar today is going to be how to grow an amazing looking Heart-to-Heart Caladium crop. So Clay will provide a lot of tips and tricks there. And then Chad Harrison, who's one of the sales members within the team here, who works with many, many growers and retailers around the country on bringing these great plants to market. And he'll share some of his tips on how to maximize the power of Caladiums and grow a great looking crop. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Clay and Chad to share all their tips and tricks on how to grow the best Heart-to-Heart program. We're going to start with a quick little video. So we're going to pop out of this screen, show a little video that they'll narrate. Take it over, guys.
All right, Dave, thanks for that introduction. We can't see it.
Oh, okay.
All right, we're going to jump in here with this video. We're kind of looking at the farm, the rows of white plastic here. This is a post-harvest. As soon as the caladiums are harvested, field prep begins. This tractor here is going over, putting in some post-soil applications for nematodes, sealing that in. We do that because the nematodes are right at the top of the soil line at that point. After couple of weeks, we come in and the pre-bedding process begins. This whole process here is actually a dance, if you would, of 8 or 10 tractors all running in synchrony. The pre-bed comes in, that gives you the soil mounded up to allow our super bedder to come in. This 3-row super bedder here will help start the packing process for the raised plastic beds for the caladiums to go on. It's taking that sand and filling in voids, rounding off the shoulders. This tractor here is another process. It will come in and put down a pre-emergent for weed control. Then here comes the plastic. We put in a custom roll of plastic. We're white on the top and black on the bottom. That's custom to our farm only. We put out about 300 miles of this plastic. And underneath it is 2 rows of drip irrigation. So you can think about 600 miles of that. Here comes in the hole punching process for the Caladium seeds. This is an in-house production machine here. It actually burns holes through the plastic, preparing them for a crew to come back in to plant the 30 million seed pieces throughout the farm. This machine here is punching at about 6 holes per linear foot. And here is the crew, or one of the crews. There's usually 3 to 4, depending on how fast we need to move. People planting the 30 million seed pieces throughout the farm. These are all hand cut. and brought to the farm from the warehouse facility. And that is what it looks like all done. You've got nice, perfectly straight rows from our GPS-driven tractors, and 8-inch high plastic raised beds gives us some insurance from water events such as hurricanes and stuff like that. Our germination process usually takes place maybe 15, 18 days after the seeds go in the ground. We do have more insurances put in on the farm for reliability. We have water pivots that go around and keep the sand moist while all the seed pieces germinating in the upper levels of the sand. It can dry out pretty fast. Time lapse here. This is probably 30 days in. We're starting to cover up some of the plastic, pushing toward that 95% plus germination on the farm. Riding down the rows through here. Nice and straight. What we didn't see in this video here is we do have a polishing bedder that comes in behind that big 3-row bedder. And that gives you a taller, you see the lines are nice and straight on the side. That also helps the plastic stay put. Here we're looking at probably 2 months in. Caladiums start to cover up the plastic a good bit. And that's what we look for early on is a nice canopy to shade the roots, and then the caladiums really take off from there. So that's the farm. We're looking at about 800 acres of flat sand soil in Florida. This is where it all begins here before soil prep is the harvesting. These harvesters are very, very similar to a potato harvester. It's a big spade on the front that dips down under the bulb, scoops it up, bounces alongside a chain, knocks a lot of the sand off, and then it gets put inside a bulb cart. That bulb cart handles somewhere around 8,000 pounds of caladium bulbs that get dropped into a water bath here. The water helps cushion the fall into the washer so we don't bruise the bulbs. Again, reliability, non-bruised bulbs, better quality plant on the end. Sand gets washed off. We have workers here that'll pick through any weeds or anything they see unsightly, or maybe the bulb was damaged beyond repair during the harvest process. All of that gets sorted out. Bulbs then get loaded into trays. Our farm itself is about a 30-minute semi-trailer drive from the warehouse. These trays get loaded into semi boxes and brought to the farm. As you saw in the video, several different colors in a short area of the farm. So we have several plantings, is what that means, of each variety, harvested at different times, transported on trucks at different times, different stages of development. All of that is to ensure reliability if something was to happen to a trailer, if one part of the farm was to stay flooded for a long period of time and those bulbs got damaged. All of these processes help mitigate problems to give us a more reliable product to the market.
Real good. So as we transition back to the PowerPoint rest of presentation here, I just want to point out on Clay and Chad's behalf, what they're doing is considerably different than how caladiums have traditionally been grown. Most of the caladiums produced in Florida were really just at the mercy of Mother Nature and grown in a very mucky, wet type of soil. And from one year to the next, for those of you who've been in the industry for a long time, I'm sure you have memories of some years you got caladium, some years you didn't, some years you got certain varieties, and the next year you couldn't. And it was just really at the mercy of Mother Nature. And what the team at Classic Caladiums has done is try to eliminate as much of those variables as possible by having raised beds, by growing in sand, by putting the plastic down, by having additional watering if they need it. So this is really a truly different process than how caladiums have been grown for 50 plus years. So at any rate, back to you guys.
Good deal. Thanks, DK. As we talked about, it's heart-to-heart Caladiums, and that's why we're here. It's Proven Winners Heart-to-Heart Caladiums. And Clay is going to walk you through genetics, how we got here, and then moving forward where we're going and what we're doing.
So some varieties of caladiums have been propagated from the same population of bulbs, same seed stock for over 150 years. So what we wanted to do is go in, we walked thousands of bed feet of caladiums looking for the brightest colors, the ones that are the most true to the original parent type, and represented the variety the way it should be. We then harvested those caladiums from seed stock fields, I guess you would call it the original bulb stock fields, and sent them through the tissue culture process. This process here does rejuvenate the bulb. As you know, as you send stuff through tissue culture, it kind of turns the clock back on time. You get more vigor, more branching, better growth altogether. And then also gives us clonal lines. And some of those clonal lines are actually better than the original parent line. And so all of that gets looked at during this genetic back to tissue culture. Once we chose those clonal lines, or the best of the best, they got planted on our main farm. We call it Snoke. Out of those, the breeding program was born. So we start the breeding program every year with our genetics. We breed about 30,000 crosses. Those crosses get looked at over a 7-year period. During that period, we're looking for vigor, disease resistance, fullness in the pot, and of course production on the farm level. We're looking for uniformity. How is it sun, shade tolerant? The more sun tolerant we got, the better production on the farm we'll have, and just proven performance. So after those 7 years go by, we may only be left out of the 30,000, maybe 2 or 3, and those are what we then bring to market. Here is the dream here. This is some of our best genetics, probably, as far as a grower is concerned. You've got nice, perfect straight lines, tabletop caladiums, no foliage disease, raised plastic beds, weed control, under control. No, you're not seeing any kind of competition from weeds. Inside those beds is something we didn't see on the film. We also have slow release fertilizer under there, so the bulbs get continuously fed. As you know, Florida's rains almost every day. Here during the summertime, we have rainy seasons. You can about set your clock to it. So that gives them constant feed. That uniformity carries over into the greenhouse. Here we have perfectly spaced bottle rocket top left. The uniformity allows you to fit more on a cart for shipping. They all play well together. Here in the bottom, we've got combinations and unusual colors and faces out of the breeding program, where we've taken the American stock, found intricacies in it, brightened up the colors, more different colors are revealed, and then we've also added in external, like national, say, Thai genetics, Philippine genetics to these product lines to get different faces as well. Details make the difference with the Proven Winners caladiums. The bulbs you see here in the top, they have been DI'd. Those of you that grow vegetative crops, DIing is very similar to pinching. It causes it to branch heavier. The next picture over is it's been sealed over. You see the branching. They've also been painted white bulbs. That helps you orient the caladium in the pot. All of this helps us get a more uniform crop. If the bulb gets turned upside down, it could delay sprouting, and then you've got an uneven crop, and it may require pulling and waiting and pulling again. So the details are making the difference with the Proven Winners crops. We have specific recipes as far as populations of bulbs for the size of container. The larger the container, the more bulbs go in it based on the bulb size. As you see, they're painted white. We have the quart, the 6.5 inch and an 8 inch. Running through the sizes, 2 number 2s per 1 quart or 1 number 1. On a 6.5 inch, it takes 4 number 2s, 2 number 1s or a jumbo. And in the 8 inch container, we're at 4 number 1s or 2 jumbos. So planting starts, you're going to plant your caladium bulb no deeper than about 2 inches below the soil line. We've seen people just drop the bulb in the bottom of the pot and fill it up with dirt. That's going to delay sprouting, which means that you could miss your sales window. You've also got bulbs turned upside down. The white paint helps that, so you don't get that part delayed. We do recommend a soil that has a high water holding capacity, such as something with a lot of peat in it. We say this because the top of the soil, the bulbs are planted so shallow that it has to stay wet because the roots of the caladium actually come out of the top of the bulb instead of the bottom. So if that top soil dries out, then you're going to add crop time. The caladium will actually grow to a certain point, and then when the water's no longer there for germination, it'll stop, until the water's available again. Then it'll grow again. So you want even water on your crop. You also do not want stuff hanging over the top of the crop. Caladiums are a very, very high light crop. If you have shadows being cast over the crop, it could cause the plants to stretch. We urge you to put out PGRs to help with the stretch. Also, caladiums if anybody's ever grown caladiums, the spikes emerge at different times. So as soon as you start seeing 40-50% spike on your crop, you'll want to put out a PGR application. We recommend a PGR application of B9 and bonsai mix. You'll want to put this out at the first signs of spike. That light spray across the top will slow that initial spike down until the others can catch up with it. And then you'll continue spraying your PGRs weekly to maybe every 10 days if you're up north. So here's the meat and potatoes of it. We've got our most critical stages is from planting till about week 4. Most proven winter caladium varieties will sprout in 22 days, something like that. So during that 20 days, you will want to make sure your air temperature stays consistently, in the 72 to 75 range. You want your soil temperatures, up there in the 72 to 75. If you're a little bit behind, you can speed them up with temperature, but make sure that soil temperature does not go over 85 degrees Fahrenheit. If you go over that, you could risk damaging the bulb. Also, your water temperature is very important. You want water temperatures 65 degrees or more. I know people in the northern growing zones, you're on well water, that well water comes out, it's at 55, 58 degrees. So you may want to use a plastic tent over the top of your pots to retain that moisture so you're watering less. It will also retain the heat so you're not having to heat as much. Or you will want to develop a water tank system that holds water inside the greenhouse so that water is being heated during the day by the ambient temperature of the greenhouse, and when it comes time to water, you're using that water in watering your crop. If you deviate from the warm water and warm soil temperatures, you will add crop time. We get calls, my caladiums haven't come up. Caladiums are a 20-week crop for me. Most of the time, this is because we're using cold water. Anytime cold water touches the bulb, it cools the soil down, it cools the bulb down. And the bulb, like I said, with the water temperature also, the bulb will stop where it's at until temperature gets where it needs to be, and then it'll resume growing again. This can add 4 days to a week every time the temperature drops below 65. So you easily take your 8 to 9 week crop and turn it into a 15-20 week crop and possibly miss your window again. Once we get past the sprouting process, it's a
race to the finish.
Yeah, it's a race to the finish. You know, we say once they get past that process, the sprouting, we're looking at about 3 to 4 weeks to finish. So you'll want to scout for soil diseases. Those are your most prevalent diseases in caladiums. Insects, not really a problem, but pythium and root rots and such is that a problem. So you'll want to be on top of your fungicide treatment. Thanks. If you follow everything you're supposed to do, you should get nice uniform crops. Here in these pictures are crops that are appropriately spaced. You've got really good light penetration all the way around the pot, down to the lower leaves, keeping them nice and compact. This grower here has been on top of his PGRs and very high light conditions. We'll have exact 2 samples. The raspberry moon, the 2 pots, individual pots there, are from a northern grower, and the pots on the left are from a southern grower. So they both followed the recipe and they both got equal results.
And uniquely with this, if you can go back real quick, if you look at it, they're all spaced so the foliage isn't touching. A lot of folks, you can start them can tight to get them spiked if you have a space restraint inside the greenhouse, but your best bet is to move them because you have to grow and maintain the foliage. And if once you get that spacing, you'll get better light penetration, and you will also have airflow around them so they grow better, and you get that bouquet look instead of the stretchy look. And we'll show you some pictures of bad growing techniques that you'll know when if you have a crop that looks like that, then you missed a step somewhere.
Yeah. Here's some more successful crops from following the recipe here. Again, you can fit more on the rack, cuts down on your shipping. If you don't miss and stay on top of your PGRs. Also, if this person needed to stretch his shipping window, you can continue with drenches after the spray at 5, possibly up to 10 parts per million bonsai. We don't recommend a drench prior to that. It can discolor or green out leaves on some varieties if you use bonsai drenches too early in the process. Here's some familiar faces I'm sure people have seen as they walk the aisles. These are obviously not proven winner pots. We've got some that missed applications on the PGR. We've got this White Majesty here in the middle. They thought they were going to save a few pennies, so they only put 1 bulb in the pot. This grower over here maybe ran out of space or didn't get them spaced in time. So the leaves stretched, even the basil leaves stretched to look for the sunlight. So this is some stuff that we're trying to get away from and help people on the store level see what a truly good grown caladium is. Results like this, maybe they don't get across the scanner. The grower doesn't get paid for them. So the grower may perceive the market as soft and maybe not grow as many caladiums the next year, when in fact, the market's very strong for caladiums and they need to tighten up their growing practices.
Correct. And we see this as industry standard. So unfortunately, most growers and most consumers presume this is the way it should look because that's what they're seeing in the marketplace. So with Proven Winners Heart to Heart, we are reshaping that thought process. However, it's a little bit hard to do that, but as long as the recipe's followed, then you're going to be able to have a tabletop crop. They're going to have a bouquet effect. You're going to ship more. You're going to be able to, in your retail dollars too, it's going to show in your sell through and your retail dollars too, because you're selling more. and you're getting what your retail is instead of having to lower a price because of not because of how the plant looks, because it looks beautiful or because there was a miss somewhere.
So sales are strong in the spring and even stronger in the summertime. Caladiums are tropical, so just because it's hot outside doesn't mean they're not going to perform. They actually perform better during the summertime. So those shoulder seasons and spring extenders after Mother's Day, the 4th of July crops, all of that's very important with extending your season with caladiums. They love the heat. You may have to apply a little bit more PGRs to keep them under control from stretching during the heat and high humidity. You may want to go to a liquid supplement feed along with your slow release if you're getting heavy spring rains like we do here in Florida. Just keep in mind, you'll want your pH to stay 6.2, 6.5, slightly acidic to neutral. So depending on your fertilizer types and your water, you'll need to watch your pH. Root diseases, again, a little more prevalent when the nighttime temperatures get warm, but caladiums make great summer programs.
So here's a good idea of not just in a 6.5 inch container or a quart container, put it in a 2-gallon urn. They grow well together. Mm-hmm. It's and if you follow the protocol, right, they're going to bouquet together and they're going to all ship together. So now this grower in the Northeast, all these shipped at one time. You don't have to cull. You don't have to send a manager in there to say, ship this one, ship that one. You just row run it. So what you're doing is you're saving labor money, you're saving production money, you're saving planting money, and you're making all of your retail dollars count back to your bottom line and not having any issues in each bay where you don't ship or you do ship. More of the same. Mm-hmm. White Wonder on the left, it's in an urn. It's beautiful. It bouquets. It looks perfect. And then in landscape, when you see this landscape, it's a beautiful border. It's perfect bottle rocket. It's exactly what we want folks to see and utilize, because the versatility of the caladium is truly amazing. Because in the White Wonder on the left, in most cases on your porches or your decks in the spring and summer, you're sweeping up spent blooms every 2 or 3 days. You don't have that with caladiums at all. You don't have to worry about going behind it and cleaning. It's basically a carefree item. As long as you water it and you feed it, you're good to go, which is easy for the consumer to take care of. And that's what we want. We want it to be easy, understandable, and because it's been underutilized and underserviced, we're trying to shine the light on the versatility now.
So other markets, emerging markets for caladiums. We've got newer generations coming up looking for something different. We're seeing a resurgence in houseplants that we know have been around for forever, but now we've got a resurgence because they haven't been used in a while. Now they're new again. Same with caladiums. Poinsettias have been around. We're looking for something new, some different color patterns, different uses, tabletop centerpieces, and they're just easier to grow. So you've got less heat that has to be used for caladiums than poinsettias. You're not dealing with botrytis. You're not dealing with the whitefly issues. You're not dealing with a 12, 14-week crop time. You're not dealing with mother plants to get your cuttings from for poinsettias. All that stuff you're not dealing with. You're going from a 12-week crop down to a 7-week crop with interest. You've got the scarlet flame and the bottle rocket. All of that's visible from way off. And
something else too is that this is a margin dollar crop, whereas poinsettias are a donation.
Yeah.
If most of you know that a poinsettia, there's zero margin in it. It's you grow it because you've been conditioned. Folks have been conditioned to buy it at Christmas. Now we have a crop that's half the crop time, and you can actually make money on it. So that's where we want to go. We are trying to help everybody see the versatility from March to November to December. Utilize it as indoor, outdoor, landscape, containers. There's so much we can do with this, and this is just the top of the iceberg. Let's flip it over and see what's underneath. We can't wait to show you guys more things coming forward in a few years.
So again, Christmas program, you need a Christmas protocol. It's a little bit different with the morphology of caladiums and the genetics. We're using bulbs that are ready to grow. So we switch to bulb soaks now for bonsai to keep them more compact, more toned, stems tougher. We're conditioning the plant to perform indoors now instead of outdoors. So we're gonna be a little more heavy on our PGRs to tone the plant so it doesn't stretch inside our homes.
Here's something coming. It's you'll see at Proven Winners have always had recipes. They've always had the petunias and the calibrachoas and all these beautiful plants. Well, we've come up now. Here's another combo for you, which is recipe of the year for 2023, which is called Sweetheart Passion. It's beautiful. And the best part about these caladiums, they all play well together. And there's no rule that says, hey, you can't put this one or that one at home when you buy them or retail. Whatever you like, you make it and you run with it. But we're going to give you ideas. We're going to hopefully inspire you to go do your own thing, or to find these and make this yourself, or find this actually at a grower or a shop that they've already grown it for you, where you take it home and just enjoy it for the whole season. And then Instinct, this is next year, 2024, which I think this is beautiful. I love Chinook. Chinook's got a great hosta type habit. It branches well. It looks good in a pot, and it stacks itself, so it's more compact, and you can see more of the color, and it stays a beautiful pink throughout the whole summer.
Another thing about Chinook is you're looking at a caladium here in this picture. The colors are a little older there, but when it first comes out, Chinook is like an orange tangerine, and that's hardly ever seen in the caladium industry.
Good to know. And then this year, the 2023 Heart to Heart Caladium of the Year, Scarlet Flame, is the beautiful deep red, almost with a fuchsia color, and then with a green margin. It's perfect for the landscape containers. However you want to utilize it, it fits well anywhere you want to go. And again, 2024, the Caladium of the Year next year will be Lemon Blush, as Clay spoke earlier. That's the tabletop crop we see out in the field. It does the same thing in containers. And the 6-inch, an 8-inch, combo 2-gallon, however you want to utilize it, it's going to fit and play well with anything you put it with. Something you're going to start seeing this fall. I mean, not this fall, but this spring and summer, is that in the South, I think they're going to focus in the South, and you're going to see more of these heart to heart. Let's grow with heart to heart. Let's go buy them. Let's plant them in the dirt. Let's put them in combos. And you're going to see these billboards popping up everywhere. So we're going to try to inspire you to go buy and go do, and then share your pictures. Tag us in them. We want to see what you're doing.
Well, your customers are going to be seeing this billboard, and they're going to go to their garden center and beg for them.
Yeah,
they're going to
that's
say,
true.
And so your customers are going to pull them through the marketplace for you, because they're going to be looking.
Yep. And then again, the versatility here is unmatched. It plays well with other Proven Winners genera. You can mix and match. Go to your Proven Winners annual tables. You mix and match. So your consumers are going to begin to see these photos in marketplaces, and they're going to make their own things. So if you're offering, or you're seeing the different things, plant them together. They're all going to do well. Something might grow larger or taller than something else, but that's just a trial and error. That's the biggest thing about this, is that all of these are going to work well together.
Well, with the Heart to Heart collection, you've also got caladiums in it that can handle full sun, 100% sun, been tested in the Florida sun. So they're going to go. You can go in with your lantana, in with your begonias, your dragon wings, all of that stuff that can handle the full sun. So you're not just limited to impatiens and ferns and grasses and stuff like that for the shade. You can have them from the sun all the way to the shade, uniform landscape. You're not having to swap and use something else.
Yeah. And then the beauty of this is that you can go from elaborate schemes, scenarios that you want to do in your yard, or just simple beauty with an upright elephant ear and caladium surrounded. That's either one of those are beautiful, and one's One takes a while to do, and one takes 30 minutes to put together. So it's simple, it's beautiful, they're easy to use. They're going to be, this year, they're going to be easy to find. So, grow them, sell them, love them, and tell us about it on your social media pages.
All right,
Thank you very much. We appreciate the time today.
If y'all needed any more videos to watch, tips and tricks, you can find that on our Caladiums website. We also have a YouTube page that has all the videos. We spotlight proven winners on there, and the farming processes again.
Fantastic, guys. I really appreciate that deep dive you've done on how to grow the best heart-to-heart caladium crop. And, like you said many times, if you follow the recipe, this can be a really quick, short, fast crop time compared to how people have traditionally looked at caladiums over the years as being difficult to grow and taking forever. In the 4 years that we've been working together, it's been amazing to me how we've helped transform this crop to make a lot of growers and retailers successful, having them in their stores. We'll have time if anybody has any questions to type into the chat function, please do that. Another thing I just want to point out before we go is the idea that summertime programs are tough, right? And I know at retail, foot traffic decreases a little bit, and it's harder to take care of plants on the retail bench in the summertime as the temperatures raise. There's really nothing better than these heart-to-heart caladiums for summertime programs. They're easy to care for. They improve every single day the warmer the temperatures get. There's not many plants that you can save that with. They're always in color. That's the other great thing. We love the flowers that come with our flowering annuals and all those type of plants. But these caladiums and the breeding that the classic caladium team have done have such tremendous looking colors in all of these leaves. And you never have to worry about them, needing to deadhead or the flowers dropping or anything. So they're just so versatile, from hanging baskets to upright containers to mixing them together in recipes like the guys showed, to individual containers that people can plant in their upright containers or right into the ground. There's really every application a caladium can be used in. And then lastly, the exciting thing that they did is they talked about is the breeding of half of the heart-to-heart line can work just as well in full sun as it does in shade. So just about anybody can have success with them. So anyway, thank you for listening today. Thank you guys for a fantastic seminar here on how to grow the best program. Our next webinar coming up is February 23rd with Katie Elzer-Peters, and she's going to do a deep dive on the use of text message marketing, which is definitely a increasing way of companies interacting with consumers. So if you are interested in learning more about how to utilize and best use text messaging within your marketing strategies of your business, go to provenwinners.com, click on our professionals page, and you can sign up for that next webinar on February 23rd. We'll sign off now. Thank you all for your business. Thanks for your partnership.
Dave, we do have 2 questions in the chat. Since we have a little bit of time left, can we address those?
Yeah, let's see here. What's the website and the videos for more information? So Chad and Clay, if I know we've got some stuff on our website. Is there anything on the Classic website you want to point them to?
Yeah, we've got a growers focused website. We call our LLC website, and it's classiccaladiumsllc.com. It's got all the frequently asked questions we get. It's got printable grower cards. It's got full detail, grow out protocol, as well as short detail. And you can go through and search full sun, full shade, color, all of that by the Proven Winner line.
And then another question came in here on the painting of the bulbs, asking what type of white paint do we paint on top of the bulbs?
It's a non-toxic water-based paint.
Perfect. And again, that's what's very unique. We did that to just make it planting super fast and easy. So that'll help increase profits. And then again, the de-eyeing, that is fantastic in that, as Clay said earlier, you're going to get a nice uniform crop. All those leaves are going to come up at the same time. they're going to have multiple branches and multiple leaves. Instead of 1 or 2 popping up, you're going to have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 leaves coming along. So it's a great value add to allow you all to, again, charge more and sell them faster.
Yeah, white part goes up, not down.
That's right. White's always up. Okay, well, awesome. Well, I think that's the end of the chats. Again, we will be posting this video here in the near future if you want to rewatch it. And again, thank you for your business. Have a great spring.